Welcome back to everyone who's watching Mama Rwagasabo TV. We're going to be with me, Princess Mugisha. Let's start with the news headlines. Rwanda, Saudi Arabia partner to deliver 50,000 clean cooking kits to the households. On the international scene, protesters in London rally for Sudan as the world reaches the new deadly phase. Hurricane Marisa leaves a trail of devastation after tearing through the Caribbean. Let's take a short break to be back into the news details. Welcome back into the news details, and let's start our news in Rwanda, where the Prime Minister Dr. Nsengiyumva extended Rwanda's appreciation to President Donald Trump for facilitating the peace process in the Great Lakes region.
Our parks are not only about tourism. They also offer endless opportunities for innovation and wealth creation. From using technology for advanced wildlife monitoring to bioprospecting through the genomic sequencing of biodiversity on a large scale. We cannot allow Africa's parks to be used by terrorist groups or criminal organizations to create insecurity in the region. I therefore wish to take this opportunity to express Rwanda's appreciation to President Donald Trump for his outstanding leadership and facilitation of the peace process in our region. The Regional Economic Integration Framework under the Washington Peace Agreement includes strong provisions for cross-border cooperation between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo on wildlife conservation and tourism. We hope that the newly established U.S. Foundation for International Conservation will help anchor regional peace in concrete opportunities for growth and income for our people.
Turning to our next story, beyond gorilla conservation, the ICCF 2025 recognized Rwanda's success of the community-based conservation with a new anti-poaching strategy and community engagement, with its best illustrated by the preacher's drop in illegal snailing. The ICCF event organizers highlighted how this witnessed the removal of over 17,000 deadly snails in Nyungwe National Park, home of one of the Rwanda's preserved national forests that connects Great Lakes region ecosystems. The ICCF officials said the Rwanda is fostering the next generation of conservation, and this is seen in increased revenues generated from tourism, which is shared with the community 10%, engaging and training community and rangers in conservation. Now let's turn our focus to this story, where the governments of Rwanda and Saudi Arabia have announced a joint initiative to promote clean cooking solutions and healthier households in Rwanda. Through the Forward 7 program, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia initiative, the pilot project will provide 50,000 affordable liquefied petroleum gas kits to Rwandan families over the next 18 months. Implemented by BB Box, the project targets households in Kigali, Musanze, Muhanga, Rwamagana, and Huye. In a joint statement issued on Wednesday, October 29, 2025, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Forward 7 said the RPG kit includes 2 burners and stove. Since its launch in Kigali, February 2025, the program has already reached more than 6,000 households. With expansion of Rwamagana and Musanze, officials expect broad uptake of the cleaning cooking solution across the country within a year. The initiative also aims to generate carbon credits, with proceeds reinvested into further cleaning cooking projects, supporting Rwanda's long-term commitment to carbon neutral and climate resilience future. The partner said BB Box will continue to run community awareness campaigns to inform eligible households about the benefits of switching to AGP and the availability of the kits. Forward 7, launched in 2021 under the Middle Eastern Green Initiative, has a global mission to provide clean cooking alternatives to vulnerable populations, reducing the risk associated with traditional cooking practices such as coal and wood use. Let's take a short break to be back into the international news. Let's take a look into the international news, where the Hurricane Melissa brought devastation and death to the Caribbean as they tore through the region as one of the most powerful Atlantic storms in more than 150 years. Sandra Tumkund proceeds.
Let's begin our international news in Africa. Protesters gathered outside London's Downing Street on Wednesday to show solidarity with the people of Sudan as the country's brutal two-year war enters a new and more dangerous phase. The paramilitary Rapid Support Forces have seized control of the entire Darfur region, including the province capital El Fasher, the army's last major stronghold in the west. The fall of El Fasher has fueled fears that Africa's third-largest nation could fracture once again near 15 years after South Sudan gained independence following decades of civil war. Demonstrators in London called for international action and boycott of the United Arab Emirates, would they accused of supply weapons and support to the Rapid Support Forces. Allegations: the United Arab Emirates denies the last Rapid Support Forces military by Emirates forces by Emirates weapons, and the world stays silent, said protester Hussein Yassin. They have committed genocide in our country. Another demonstrator, Ziad Kashan, described the devastation. They burned down houses. Entire neighborhoods like Bali and Khartoum have been completely destroyed. It is heartbreaking that I can't go back to my country. The war for control of Sudan has already killed more than 40,000 people and displaced over 14 million, creating what the United Nations calls the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Both the Rapid Support Forces and Sudanese army have been accused of targeting civilians and committing war crimes. Turning to our next story, U.S. President Donald Trump was returning to Washington after face-to-face meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Thursday, the final day of trip to Asia that provided an opportunity for leaders of the world's two largest economies to stabilize relations after months of turmoil over trade issues. Washington and Beijing are in agreement on many things. Shortly after both leaders departed the meeting venue, and Trump was back aboard Air Force One to return the U.S. As reporters waited to know the outcome and conclusions of the meeting, Trump promptly announced the U.S. can sign a trade deal with China pretty soon. And aboard Air Force One, Trump gave more details, telling reporters it was a great meeting with Xi, whom he described as a great leader. Trump said tariff rates on imports of Chinese goods would be lowered to 7%, and that China would begin purchasing soybeans in bulk as previously announced. Beijing had faced new tariffs this year totaling 30%, of which 20% has been tied to what Washington claims to be China's role in fentanyl production, but the tariff rates have been faltering. In April, Trump announced plans to jack the rate on Chinese goods to 145%, only to abandon those plans as marketing Concluding our international news, Hurricane Melissa has continued its devastating sweep across the Caribbean, decimating homes and infrastructure, flooding neighborhoods, and leaving dozens. The impact in Jamaica was clearer on Wednesday after the Island National was hit squarely by the Category 5 storm, one of the most powerful hurricanes ever measured in the region. At least 5 people have been confirmed dead there. At least another 20 died during flooding in Haiti as Mesa, now Category 2 storm tore through the region. In Jamaica, people remain stranded on roofs and without power. Prime Minister Andrew Holness noted the total devastation across the Eastern nation. He added that 80 to 90% of roofs were destroyed, along with hospitals, libraries, police stations, port houses, and other urban infrastructure. King Charles, who is the head of state in Jamaica, said in a statement that he is deeply concerned and profoundly saddened at the damage caused by Melissa in Jamaica and across the Caribbean. Cuba President Miguel Diaz-Canel asked residents to not let the guards and said that the country prepared for worst-case scenario, which helped its response. On Wednesday night, the storm was 105 miles from the central Bahamas and expected to reach the Bahamas region overnight. Hurricane Melissa was moving northeast with wind at 155 km per hour, a dangerous storm surge expected the year before it moves further north toward Bermuda. A tropical storm warning is in place of Turks and Caicos Island, and the speed of the slow-moving hurricane is expected to increase in the coming days. So, Sandra Tumukunde, Mama Urwa Gasabo TV.
As we come to the end of the news edition today, let's go back with the news headlines. Rwanda, Saudi Arabia partner to deliver 50,000 clean cooking kits to the households. On the international scene, protests in London rally for the Sudan as the war reaches new deadly phase. How can Melissa leave a trail of devastation after tearing through the Caribbean? Thanks for having me. Stay tuned.